Hello and welcome to the Big Bang Theory podcast. My name's John. I'm here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Hello.
Hello. I said, me friend.
I know.
That's the way I talk now.
You said, me name. Me name John.
I don't know what happened there, listeners. Sorry. Apologies to you all. Dan, I got a confession to make before we begin.
Okay.
I missed the game last night, as you know. I had to work. And in fact, I was working on Zoom and I had to introduce my boss. And I'm ashamed to say, out of absolute habit, I called him my friend and colleague.
Oh.
Like I was introducing the podcast. And I was like, oh, that's not right.
I feel betrayed.
Yeah, sorry. Philip was delighted, though. So, yeah, if you were listening to my Zoom work...
Look forward to next season podcast featuring John and Philip. I'll be doing my own breakaway one. Just me on my own.
It'd be better for it. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know what happened. But I thought I had to get that out into the open, you know.
Oh, yeah, I forgive you.
Oh, thank you. So I missed, of course, as is the way with Exeter City, I missed the good one and I saw the bad one.
Yeah.
City took their 0-0 run to 3 games on Saturday, drawing 0-0 with promotion rivals Newport County.
Remember, that was the must-win game.
It's the must-win game. Remember? And then we found another must-win game against Grimsby Town last night.
Bottom of the league, Grimsby Town.
Potentially relegated that night, Grimsby Town.
Yeah.
And
what are they called? The Mariners.
The Mariners, the Finders Crispy Mariners. And unfortunately now they're the Finders Crispy relegated.
Yeah.
Gone.
They are, Grandpa time well and truly over, isn't it? Grandpa is in an urn on the mantelpiece.
Grandpa's name is Mud.
Yeah. So, and they actually are now relegated, aren't they? As a result of not only us beating them, but a few other things happening.
So City won 3-2.
Barrow winning, for example.
Yes, that's right. So
we had a 0-0 on Saturday at Newport, and then we won 3-2 against Grimsby at St James's Park last night, Tuesday.
The Newport game, there's not a lot to say because it was pretty dire. Again.
Well, yeah. I suppose we've got it groups in. It's part of the trilogy, isn't it?
Yes.
Part of the trilogy of the 0-0s, you know.
Isn't it always the way that the third one in the trilogy is the worst?
No, I wouldn't say so.
Okay.
I'd say, just off the top of my head, Die Hard with a Vengeance is better than Die Hard 2.
Okay.
But Godfather Part 3 obviously is the
worst.
Kind of an abomination.
Very strong.
Compared to the second one, I don't think that's strong. I think that's just...
Okay.
Nevertheless... examples, we're not exactly film guys, are we, really?
This is a football podcast, listeners.
Yeah. We're football guys.
Football guys. The notable things about the Newport game, and this is bad when it gets to this stage, but Newport's away shirt was absolutely dreadful.
Yeah, it looked like an Ed Sheeran album.
Really spectacularly poor.
Yeah.
Was it X for Exiles? Is that what was going on?
Okay, that's their nickname.
It's their nickname because they had to leave their ground or whatever.
Is that what that is?
I think so.
Yeah, lads, I've got to tell you, no one else cares or knows what that's about, so it's a weird, embarrassing nickname.
Isn't it even more embarrassing to come to...
You want to be called the Grecians for no discernible reason.
Isn't it that you... isn't it a bit embarrassing to come to Exeter and Exeter City, Exeter, on the River Ex... And you're the one with an X on your shirt.
Yeah, we should have the big X.
We should have the big X. I don't want the big X.
Are you listening, Joma? We want a big X on our shirt next year.
Please, we really don't want a big X.
I want a big X.
Okay.
I want X on the shorts, and on the socks, and on the shirt.
Okay.
Well, we got rid of stripes this year, didn't we, for some sort of weird...
We did kind of get rid of
stripes.
stripes.
I don't into that kit. Anyway, that's for another time.
That's for another time. So
what did they do? There's a couple... Anderson had to make a couple of saves.
He did. He made some good saves, actually.
A couple down to his right.
We didn't ever look like we were going to win the game, did we?
Well, we failed to have a single shot on target, if I remember correctly.
Oh, dear.
Which is worrying, and is worrying still, even in the context of last night.
Yeah. So, to draw a line under Newport, we were lucky to get away with a point. It dropped us down the league, so we dropped a place down.
I think that, yeah. And also, it was like, you know, that was such a must-win game, in air quotes, that even the club, Matt Taylor, and the players were saying it. This is a must-win game. Whereas normally, officially, clubs usually like to play down those kind of things. It's more the kind of thing you associate with a fan saying, you know, like on message boards or whatever, Twitter, that it's a must-win. But the club was saying it.
Yeah.
And you kind of put yourself in a bit of a position there, don't you? And then, fair enough, you can't control how football matches go, like completely at all. So a must-win game doesn't always mean you win.
No,
You know?
no, it doesn't work that you just, like Michael Scott, say, shout bankruptcy.
I declare a win.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that, does it, sadly?
It doesn't work. No. But I think if that's going to be the narrative, you better be pretty sure that your team's going to at least have a shot on target. And then afterwards, not really, why didn't we have a shot on target? It's very difficult to say, isn't it?
Yeah,
because Newport wanted to win that game too. So it's not like they just stuck 11 men behind the ball.
No, it wasn't Barrow, was it? Where they had a system of defence. The best chance probably fell to Jake Taylor, who should have done better on about the 6-yard line, wasn't he?
Yeah, there may well. Was there anything else later on? To be honest, I couldn't even make it through the highlights. So I didn't. I saw the Jake Taylor one.
I mean, we have really suffered.
I was thinking about this, and when we come on to sort of talk more about the kind of game last night, the Grimsby game, but imagine kind of being... How many of those 0-0s were at home? Was it 2? Or just 1?
I struggle to remember now.
Can't remember, but at least one, say. And, like, you know, if we were at that 0-0 against...
Grimsby?
No, sorry, that wasn't 0-0. Was it?
Newport.
If we're at that game, yeah, the crowd are in.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean.
That is getting tense, isn't it? You know?
Yeah.
Off the back of 2 before.
Yeah.
We're at that game. It's starting to get... And you know what it's like when we're not playing well, and, like, you just want them to will them on to at least have an effort. You know, at least try. At least have a shot. When that's not happened, I think, in a way, it's quite fortunate that there was no one in the crowd for the team. I mean, maybe it's obviously a weird way to play football, but it wouldn't have been tense. We've all been there. We know what it's like when the team's not playing well, and 3 games in a row of not scoring and barely even having a chance.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have been getting tetchy. Do you know what I mean? And I'm usually kind of against kind of
tetchiness.
No, but I'm against like booing, for example, when the team, unless you're kind of, I reserve that for like special circumstances. Booing, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rock bottom of the table. You want to get rid of like the board because they're like stitching you up or something like that. But I'd have been tempted after 3 0-0s in a row.
I mean, it's hard to say, isn't it? Like, what is it good for the team that there's no one there, or is the team bad because there's no one there? Like,
well, yeah, we'll never know these things. But
you do always feel with City, we do all genuinely feel disappointed when we're not attacking the big bank second half, right? Agree. Not just because we're stood there, but like it feels like an advantage. You know, almost all of the great games I can think of where we need to come back into something, we're particularly inclined to. It seems to happen specifically because they're attacking the big bank. You know, there's a real like...
Yeah, maybe. There must be studies out there that have...
People are quite interested in it. And I know that it has changed.
The old sucking the ball into the goal theory.
There's just something about it, isn't there? But like the keeper obviously has got people right behind him bellowing, and there's a real like surge of momentum and all that kind of stuff. You know, in the same way that it spurs a winger on, or a runner when they come into the home stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not saying that it doesn't make any difference at all. It definitely does. It's quite hard to quantify, isn't it? And then equally, when there's nobody there at all, how much difference does that make? I guess it's one of those things, isn't it? We'll never know.
We'll all go back to normal and be like, oh, that was a weird thing. But yeah, you're right.
We know what it's like to be there, and for that to be the atmosphere when we can't get the ball near their goal. I mean, it's happened a lot. We're in League 2. Obviously, it's happened a lot.
Yeah. So that was 0-0 and very disappointing. Not that it was a draw, but yeah, the manner of the draw, the approach to it.
Yeah. You kind of think you can't get any more frustrated. And then there was after the second one. And then there's another one and you're like, oh.
There was, in my mind, I was like, well, surely they'll just be like...
Yeah.
Some of those players just inclined to...
Matt Taylor did the whole thing of just like throw every one who's vaguely attacking on at the end.
But that was 10 minutes from the end. Like,
yeah.
We've said it many times. Taylor's substitutions don't make a lot of sense. Partly to do with the squad, partly to do with him falling out with some of the squad.
Timings.
But timings in particular, I can't work it out. Anyway, it was 0-0. I thought that was it. Honestly, I thought that's the season over.
Well, it should have been.
Should have been. And obviously our colleagues in League Two are all
Exactly.
as terrible as we are.
I mean,
They really are.
the amount of leeway you're afforded. You could just.
It's not normally like this.
No, I don't think it is it?
No, not like this.
I mean, you can always get away with a bit, but that just really seems like we've been let off the hook time and time again.
But
How are we not halfway down the table?
Yeah.
I know we scored a load of goals at the beginning of the season.
But it's not our goal difference that's keeping it. It's not
But
like
no,
there's
yeah.
it's
But it's not, is it? It's the
No.
points. It's like it almost seems like every time it's like. I suppose it's because there's so many teams sort of in the hunt. There's probably 9 teams, isn't there?
Yeah.
But they've all kind of had their kind of moment.
Yeah.
In the, and they're kind of rotating the kind of form, I suppose.
Yeah. I guess it's just that everyone just seems to drop off a cliff on a fairly regular basis.
Yeah. We had our moment up the top, didn't we?
Yeah.
Forest Green have had theirs. Cheltenham have had theirs more recently, and they've now been promoted.
Yeah. I think Cheltenham have been the only consistently good team we've seen. I think
Cambridge have managed to stay in the top
They have.
2 the whole time.
And they've had their moments, but of course we beat them.
Yeah, well, I think in a way they're almost kind of like a more strange example than we are of being like, they haven't looked, like amazing and but they've managed to stay in the automatic places. Whereas we've managed to stay. I mean, we forced ourselves out of the promotion places, didn't we? Really?
Yeah.
We had to really try.
We really did.
And they were like, well, what? If you were trying to do that, that's how you would do it, isn't it? Basically.
Yeah, it's almost like 2 polite English people at the door, isn't it? Like trying to let each other in.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Out or whatever.
Yeah.
So I thought that was it. I thought we're done.
After
right?
you, Forest Green. No, after you, Carlisle.
Yeah. Anyway, last night, Grimsby Town, like you said, bottom of the league, needed to win to stay up.
Well, they needed. Yeah, they needed.
To have a chance of staying up.
They needed to better Barrow, didn't they?
Yep. I was interested to listen to another podcast talking about Grimsby Town. I'd forgotten they were such a big club in the 90s. They were championship promotion hopefuls back in the 90s, and they'd really fallen off a cliff. And obviously they came up 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So they've had a bad time. And I tragically predicted them for promotion this year. I thought Holloway would work his magic.
Really?
Yeah. Shows what I know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's whatever.
He's got no magic left.
Holloway, I think the magic faded a long time ago.
Maybe.
Yeah.
People really liked it, didn't he? He was all like, I've been in the town, I've told lads to pick up their litter, all this kind of mad stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously that's part of his character, but if you can't get your team to win some football matches...
I mean, to be honest, going around telling kids to pick up rubbish is the easy bit of managing.
Yeah, very true.
You've got to have a balance of that and also winning football matches. That's what all the greats do.
Yeah, he spent half his playing budget on those litter picker things.
Yeah.
Just everyone in Grimsby...
I just really thought it helped to win.
Anyway, so Grimsby come to town. I'm on Zoom. I'm besmirching your good name. You're watching it. Talk us through it.
I can't remember.
Okay.
No, I'm joking. It was very frustrating. Again, I mean, we started. I think something had to change because you 3 owners in a row, and you're like, you've got to try something. At that point, you kind of go, well, I'll do anything. Haven't even had a shot. So Bowman and Jay both dropped to the bench.
Well, that's a big move, right?
Yeah, bold move. Yeah.
I mean, it is a big move.
I guess he's going for this kind of shot across the bows, kind of just like, I'm mixing it up. Oh, and maybe the mix-up is enough to kind of change things.
But he's never done that before.
And also, to be honest, it seems a bit last-ditch to me. It seems a little bit like, I don't know, why don't we try... Here's a wacky idea.
Yeah.
Let's take out the 2 top goal scorers and see if that helps us score goals. Now, I know they haven't been playing very well, and ultimately, we did score some goals. Not till both of them 2 came on, though. In fact, we didn't even have a shot. We go ahead...
Half an hour in,
having not had a shot on target, unless you count this kind of... Ben Seymour starts.
Yeah.
Unless
and is he playing the Bowman role?
Yeah, he's leading the line, which
Yeah.
he can't do. He does this kind of looping header, which sort of the keeper sort of tips over the bar, and he sort of maybe had to, maybe didn't.
Right.
And I was thinking, does that count as a shot on target? I don't know if it does, but all right.
Okay.
Maybe. Let's say generously we've had 1. And then Rando Williams, who kind of was getting on the ball a bit down the right hand side. We're playing against the bottom of the league team.
Yeah.
So,
You'd hope so.
getting a few balls into the box, none of them going anywhere near Seymour. whatever. And then one of them just went in.
Hit someone, right?
He had a shot. It hit a Grimsby Town player.
The marvellously named Luke Waterfall.
Luke Waterfall. They've got a lot of interesting named players on that side.
Yeah.
Waterfall.
Yeah.
Coke.
Yeah. Coke playing next to Spokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, normally when you've seen that name before, you're like, oh, no, it's Coke. No, this guy's just called Coke.
Yeah.
And then John Lewis up front.
Yeah. I mean, always good to see him.
Yeah.
He's good in the attacking
Gazing
department.
at himself in the distance. Oh, look, there I am over the horizon.
Yeah, so Williams was getting some luck.
Yeah, a bit, but it wasn't. Like I said, we hadn't had any shots, and our first goal came. And it's quite the irony wasn't lost on me that after 3-0 and barely on shot on target, the first goal we scored was an own goal. I mean, you need a bit. Eventually, you're going to get a bit of luck. That will happen. That's how football works. I mean, it's taken us almost like whatever that is, like probably nearly 300 minutes, maybe over, to get that goal.
I think that would be over.
And it wasn't even by one of our players. Anyway, then
I think that wowould be the 303rd minute.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Definitely around the 300 mark.
Yes.
Which is just like you need a bit of luck. And I thought, well, maybe this will spur us on.
Yeah.
Wasn't to be at all.
So within 10 minutes, we've given away a penalty.
Yeah. Lewis Page with one of the most blatant penalties you're ever likely to see.
Nice.
Despite what you may have heard on the radio, if you're listening that way, they seemed a little bit less clear.
Do you know what? By the way, I feel bad for the radio commentators.
They don't get replays.
They don't get replays.
I know, but that's how commentary works,
No, but normally they'd have a telly screen, wouldn't they?
No.
I mean, I don't mean at City, but at Manchester City.
Oh yeah, probably yeah. They probably have the same
it'd
feed.
be worth them having it on, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well, why don't they? Why don't they? Don't want to pay the tenner, probably.
Yeah.
Who can blame them?
We've got to sit here and get cold. I'm not paying a tenner as well.
The co-commentator doesn't even get paid, do they?
No, believe not.
There you go. So, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, all right.
But so yeah, Lewis Page just sort of like hacks this guy down. Stupid. But
were they looking threatening at this point?
Had
they looked threatening beforehand?
No.
Okay.
No, they hadn't. We looked fairly unthreatening.
So we dug ourselves that hole.
No, we looked fairly fine, but a bit blunt maybe. But yeah.
Okay.
And then at half time, 1-1, and you just like, I don't know.
John Lewis scored.
John Lewis puts the penalty away, yeah. I don't know. Maybe people are expecting some sort of pun here, aren't they? But
there's loads. Surely.
I know, but I think maybe I'm just above it.
No, I'm not. John Lewis relegates himself to the basement. Carry on.
You see, you got to do. I want better than that. If you're going to insist on doing it, it got to be better than that.
All right, I'll think about it. So we come out 1-1. 15 into the second half, on the hour just about. Matete, is that how you say it?
Matete?
Okay.
I can't remember how they're saying it.
Grimsby player.
Bear in mind, bit of context for this fella.
Yeah.
He's had about 3 or 4 tackles, which would have been in any other match would have been yellow cards.
Okay.
The first one, he's about an hour late on Lewis Page. Completely clears him out. Ref, nothing.
Free kick?
No.
Oh.
I can't remember. No, it might have been a free kick. Yeah, it was a free kick, but no yellow card.
Okay.
Doesn't even talk to him. A couple more. At least one of them, another definite yellow. Nothing.
Yeah.
He finally gives him a little bit of a talking to, but doesn't book him.
Yeah.
Anyway, then this guy picks up the ball. After all that's happened, second half he picks up the ball and sort of just shoots from miles away, and it goes in.
Okay. Anderson at fault, perhaps.
I think he's beaten it as near post. It's a long way out, so I'd probably, considering how good he's been, I'd give him the benefit of the doubt that he might have been unsighted a bit. But even if not, what's that? One.
He's been.
I'd call it a semi-clanger at worst.
Semi-clanger, yeah. He's just been exceptional, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been really good.
One of our best loan signings. I know Dar O'Shea was excellent. I know, blah blah blah.
Yeah, he's been good. He's been really good, and it's been great having him there. And like, it's sort of like the goalkeeper spot's been a bit kind of, not anything against Ward or Maxted, but it's been because it's been so back and forth between them two, and it's sort of like, one of them sort of loses a bit of form, then the other one has a go, and then one of them gets injured, so then the other one has a go, and it's just sort of He's just taken care of that area.
Yeah.
Just be like, right, I'm in goal. I'm good. Don't worry about it.
Taylor hasn't had to think about it.
I'm not perfect,
Yeah.
but I'm decent. Yeah.
So, a shame for Anderson, but that puts us 2-1 behind.
It was 2-1 behind. And, I don't blame him. We had chances in the game, and we hadn't...
Seymour still not hitting the target.
Seymour, to be fair, didn't get any service. I feel sorry for him because I've said this before, but I think probably he's not quite ready to play at this level. That doesn't mean to say that he isn't ever going to be.
Yeah. Obviously, the loan opportunities at the minute are basically non-existent.
Yeah. I know he's not a 16-year-old, but that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that he's 22 and he's not, he's finished. Not at all. I just don't think, and I think it's unfair that on him in a way that he's had to kind of be put in this spotlight. Now that's down to having a small squad, a Jose refusing to train or whatever.
Yeah.
Taylor not fancying Alex Fisher, whatever it is. He wants to push him and give him these opportunities. I just don't know how much good it's doing him.
I feel really sorry for him on 2 levels. Level number 1, yeah, exactly like you've just said. He's constantly put in the spotlight when I think you're right, he's not ready. But 2...
They give him this number 9 shirt as well, which probably isn't helping.
Square peg in a round hole. I mean...
That's the thing, we're not exactly playing to his strengths.
No, or changing anything. So it's not like... And also, I haven't seen enough of him to know, but I don't know what his strength is, really. But there's only been one position he's been playing, hasn't there?
Hold up man, innit?
Yeah.
And target man. And I just think that's not it.
Wouldn't say so.
I think with the ball at his feet, there's been times where his hold up plays looked okay, but he's just not tall enough to go up against... If you're going to play that way, you've got to have someone who is at least tall.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Even then, it's not a given that they're going to be good at it, but I think with his back to goal, ball to feet, maybe he's okay. His link-up play is presumably pretty good. I think maybe running in behind, we don't play like that.
No.
And to be honest, we don't play against a lot of teams who are going to give you that much space in behind.
No.
Especially if you give them the opportunity by gifting them goals early on in games. Which, fair enough, we haven't done recently. Of defending been pretty good. I think... Yeah. I mean, in the end, after that...
Well, so after that, mate, he scores. Matisse.
Yeah,
Matisse.
He scores, and then he gets a straight red.
Tackle.
It's kind of like a coming together, but he sort of goes for the ball with his studs right up, and he just straight into, I think it may be Collins.
Right.
Straight into Collins' chest. And I just think at that point, maybe it was not the most obvious straight red. You could kind of think maybe it wouldn't be given.
Yeah.
But at that point, I think it's just... We're into the second half. All these incidents happened that he was let off happened mostly in the first half. So the refs obviously at half time has had people maybe told him, "Oh look, by the way, this guy's being well reckless out there, and you're letting him off." He sees that. I don't think the guy's had enough chances to just calm down a bit.
Fair enough.
And it's a red, and I don't think he can have too many complaints. Although he did, he hung around on the pitch for ages. But
I mean, Grimsby have had. They've also got mad players because, of course, was it 3 weeks ago they were at Bradford and Matey got sent off for headbutting his own player?
Oh, of course, that was them, wasn't it?
That was them. The referee followed him into the changing rooms to send him off.
Presumably he wasn't playing.
No, he's been got rid of, or certainly not playing anymore. The guy that got sent off.
Oh right, wow.
So it's not a happy place.
Yeah.
Dear me. So
imagine if Drysdale was reffing as well.
Oh, you'd rip his head off.
3-way dance.
I mean, literally, you've finished the game, you've been sent off, you get out to your car, Drysdale's ripped your wing mirror off and he's throwing it at you. Like that's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's gone, down to 10 men.
Half an hour to go.
Half an hour to go.
And, I mean,
My word, did we leave it late, though. There's 20 minutes of us not doing anything with the ball.
There's always, this point in history, when we can look back in retrospect, is always marvellous for absolute meltdowns on the internet.
Yeah. Well, I was good thing I managed to hold back from and generally do. This is my only output, and we all normally have a chance to sleep on it first. So if I'm kind of too... I mean, sometimes we get a bit over emotional on this, don't we? But
at least we've thought about it.
Normally we've got a bit of time to...
And at least we've got the actual result of the game to go on.
A few deep breaths, yeah. Yeah, we're not doing it live.
No.
Flipping heck. If we were,
well,
if we just published,
what us talking while the game's happening,
then we'd be as bad as anyone.
Anyway,
But, yeah.
some folks took to the internet. That's it, I'm off. No, that's the last game I'm watching this season. That's at 2-1 down, right?
Right.
Absolutely outstanding.
There's always a big shout doing that, isn't it?
big shout. Especially what we know from history.
All those people at that Yeovil.
Oh,
game.
yeah. And many others, you know.
There's so many tales of those ones that left, isn't there?
Yeah.
Never leave a game early.
I mean,
Even
I
if you're
even
getting
sat through...
absolutely battered.
I even sat through that 6-1 Chesterfield, just in case.
You never know, do you?
No, I should have probably known at that point. So, you're right, nothing happens. And then we get some substitutions.
I think it gradually brings on all the others.
So Fisher comes on for Wilmot, Bowman comes on for Seymour, Jay's already come on for Attangana, and Hartridge comes on for Page.
Yes.
And then about 5 minutes later, Sparks comes on for Parks. So 72 minutes, so we've got about 20 minutes left.
Basically, what you can call that is throwing the kitchen sink at it.
Yeah, which we did against Newport. At least he's done it a bit earlier this time.
This is the full-on kitchen sink, though. This includes Alex Fisher.
Yes.
This is the real kitchen sink.
Yeah.
Not just the small one that you wash your hands in.
Yeah.
This is the big deep sink.
Yeah, okay.
You know, the big kind of like China one. What's it called? Porcelain.
Porcelain, yeah.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah, I do know. So that Alex Fisher's come on carrying that, basically.
Yeah. And then Piers Sweeney is put into a position where he can actually
His punting works.
use the punting, which when he's playing centre-back, of course, he can't put many crosses in.
No.
It's not exactly like in the interview so afterwards with Taylor, he's sort of like, well, Pitt Sweeney really came good. Started putting the crosses in. He's like, yeah, because you put him a right back where he's a left where he can actually cross it. How was he going to... You can't cross it from the centre-back position. But he wasn't stopping him trying.
Wasn't stopping him trying.
So he actually put in a load of really good balls.
Yep.
And I think Alex Fisher just got on the end of one and like...
Well, it kind of bobbled around a bit, didn't it?
Yeah.
Puts it away.
Okay, yeah, at which point I was like, oh, right.
2-2.
2-2 then.
10 minutes left.
Not much. Yeah. But again, it wasn't as if we were like kind of like all over them. For 20 minutes since they'd had the red card, we basically hadn't done anything. Still hadn't had a shot. We had like, I think Sweeney blasted one over from about like the halfway line. And like maybe, I think there was one other attempt that went wide.
Okay.
So it's not like we're like, you know, the keeper's keeping them in it or anything. He's had nothing to do, even against 11 men. Anyway.
So that's 2-2.
Yeah. And then it's really late on, isn't it?
It's 89, I believe.
89th minute. We
another Sweeney cross.
Is it another Sweeney cross?
I believe so.
Well, there you go. And Bowman, I mean, we always talk about Bowman's sort of timing of his jumps for headers is absolutely insane. Like he jumps about an hour early. And last night was no difference, but this time it worked. He managed to hang there in the air, suspended, crystallised in front of the big bank, like you know, I don't know, some sort of like superhero, you know, like kind of like, and then he sort of freezes, and time stands still, and the ball just drops perfectly to his head, and he nods it into the corner past the keeper.
It's one of my absolute favourite TV adverts, that Nike one, with Hocus Pocus by Focus as the soundtrack. You know, it's like that, isn't it? He sees in his mind. Bowman thinks the two options in his life. He's going to get let go by Exeter City.
But it comes in the sound, so it goes...
That's right.
Dum, 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 dum.
And what are his options? His options are leaves Exeter City, misses this, kicked out. Ivor Doble chucks him out on his heels, and he has to go back to Barrow to play football, and he ends up having to play right wing, and he realises that's not where he wants to be. So then he envisages the future, what it could be like. He scores the goal, and £1 million bid comes in from Rangers. They want him back in Scotland. They want his sharp elbows back, and so he nods it in. And what a glorious thing!
But in the TV program that you're imagining, or the movie, at that point the sound all comes back in, like to like the loud cheer of the crowd, all like. But in reality, it was just like, It was like,
I'm imagining.
Hear them.
Me and Joel Randall are both imagining that he scores, and then the music from The Greatest Showman comes on.
Come alive.
Like that. Anyway, so he scored, and 3-2. So City
3-2.
win. City win.
Then no, hang on.
Oh no,
6 minutes added on time.
Oh yeah.
And I'll tell you why. Because the Grimsby goalkeeper at 2-2, or maybe it's even when they were still 2-1 up. I think it was, decided he was going to waste time to the point that he took off his gloves to tie up his shoelaces. It's like, honestly,
Lord.
it was like it's like a real kind of taking the piss moment. It's like you've taken your gloves off to tie. You haven't even got your mate to come and do it for you. Like properly, like you got undressed in the penalty area, basically. Hang on, lads, and then they get 6 minutes added on. You know.
Yeah. Okay. Which didn't do anyone any good.
Life comes at you fast.
The game was over.
And then they were relegated.
Relegated.
Yeah. And then there's a bit sort of pushing and shoving at the final whistle, which Matt Taylor was quick to condemn because, you know, and I get it in a way. That team, they've just been relegated.
Who was shoving who?
I don't know.
Bowman, by any chance?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I think it might have been Sweeney, actually.
Oh.
Or whoever it was. I don't think it was Bowman resolved. If anything, it looked like he was actually trying to defuse it, weirdly enough.
Okay. I think Bowman's like, if I'm not starting things, they don't start.
Yeah. Anyway, they've just been relegated.
Yeah.
You know?
Dire.
And you guys hardly covered yourselves in glory. Oh, you managed to beat... That's why, you know, you don't want to get too carried away. We managed to beat bottom of the league Grimsby when they had 10 men.
For half an hour.
And it still took us 20 minutes to do anything at all.
Not good, is it?
It's hardly sort of like... I don't know. It's not like...
Well, were you watching Newport in parallel? I mean, did you have the score on? Because, of course, they started half an hour early and they won 4-0. Of course, promotion rivals, like rivals for the last space. So while we're getting beaten or are behind against Grimsby and Forest Green are getting beaten by Barrow, Newport, fair play, have taken the initiative and gone and beaten Scunthorpe 4-0. Like, that's what you kind of expect, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I know Grimsby, you know, it's all on the line for them.
Very similar, isn't it? You know? Fair enough, Scunthorpe weren't I don't think were any real danger of going down.
Well, I think it's possible for them.
But it was possible,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, very similar. And that's the reaction, you know? And like, I'm just worried about how, where's the, like, that's not a turnaround in form. That's like, we basically just sort of like, when we were able to sort of like play against 10 men and throw on all of the strikers at the same time, we were able to just about get it over the line. That's hardly going to go, oh, good, back to normal then. We'll be fine against Bolton next week.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
Alex Fisher, he comes on and immediately scores. And you kind of think, are you joking? Where was it? Why didn't you give him a chance in the other 3 games where we couldn't even have a shot on target?
Yeah.
And he's been on the pitch for 10 minutes and he scores.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that and thinking, Alex Fisher, he's the best player we've ever had. Brilliant. What's all this? And then he missed an open goal about 2 seconds afterwards.
Oh,
it's
man.
like you know. But then even that, you could say, well, he's rusty, isn't he? He hasn't played. So I was a bit annoyed about that, to be honest. He comes on and scores. Where's he been? Why hasn't he come on before?
And he always seems very willing.
Bowman's been dog shit since Christmas, basically, and then and at times looking like he's not even trying. And then why not use Alex Fisher? He's just sat there doing nothing.
And like Fisher and a Jose couldn't be more different, right? Like Fisher's attitude just seems so good.
Yeah.
Do you know what, like, it really
obviously
does.
this is a slight conjecture, but yeah, from the outside that's definitely what it looks like.
And the way he talked in his interview, like last night, and all that stuff, and you think, yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. I think Taylor's got to do a lot to convince people. I don't think it'll take much to convince us. You know, we're easily swung, but I think there's some people who are like,
the truth.
Yeah, but I think there's some people who are like, can't fathom it, and I'm inclined to agree with them about some of it because some very strange decisions. And I'd also wonder, and we'll talk about this more in a minute, maybe, or maybe at the end of the season, like, and we've happened upon this before. What are the club, the hierarchy doing? But also, what are Taylor's team doing? I know it's a reduced team, but you know they're a team of 3 or 4 people having those conversations. Why are they not like, we've got to give Alex Fisher? We're on the 3rd game where we haven't scored. We've got to give Alex Fisher 40 minutes here, minimum.
Yeah.
Very strange. We got the result, and of course, frustratingly in a way, that means we're still in the playoff hunt, which I'd given up all hope of. After the 0-0.
Well, we'll come on to that in a minute, I think.
Come on to that in a minute. See you shortly. So all of this means 2 more games to get through.
Oh, can't wait for it to be over.
Oh, I mean, we say that. If we go and beat Bolton on Saturday, we'll be high as kites. We'll be happy as Larry. We'll be dancing on the ceiling.
Maybe.
We'll be tossing the caber.
That's not an expression.
It is in Scotland.
Right, okay. Yeah, if we beat them, maybe we'll... Who knows? I don't know.
It's a shame that we can't be there. I would have loved to
Completely
have
out of
gone to
our
this.
hands, isn't it? So it doesn't make any difference if we beat Bolton, to be honest. It all matters what the other teams around us do.
Yeah, so of course, last night it looked like we had kept pace with with Forest Green on the edge of the playoffs. Newport, as we said, improved their chances massively with that 4-0 win. Forest Green lost, but then last minute Salford scored a winner, last minute of their game, so they've leapt over us. So we need Salford and Forest Green to lose.
To drop points.
To drop
in
points.
the next couple of games.
Yeah. Obviously, our good goal difference could well come into play here.
Could do, yeah.
Or
yeah.
not at all, and we lose both games. It didn't matter at all.
Yeah.
So it's Bolton. So it's
So that's away, isn't it? At the Reebok.
what's it called now? University of Bolton, isn't it?
University of Bolton Stadium.
Yeah.
Imagine if we were called the University of Exeter Stadium.
Yeah.
I'd hate it.
I would also hate it, but it gives it a certain, class.
Does it?
No, probably not.
I
Bolton.
mean, you could argue that it's better than Reebok, but
Reebok was back in the day a brand
Yeah.
of choice.
yeah, I had a pair of Reeboks or two. Do you have any?
I don't know if I did actually.
You have any Reebok pumps? Remember them?
I do remember them. I had Nike Air Max, with the bubble.
Yeah. If there are younger listeners, Reebok pumps were trainers in the 90s, and on the tongue they had like a little half sort of orange little basketball
Yeah.
that said Reebok on it or pump or something, and you pump it up.
Yeah.
You compress this little ball a bunch of times, and what did it do? Makes them more comfortable? Or
Yeah, pumped up the tongue.
pumped up the tongue so they're sort of tighter. I don't think it actually really did anything, to be honest. But
It was the gimmick of the time.
it was a gimmick, but it was one that kind of caught on. I didn't actually have a pair, but I think I remember sort of having a go on some.
Oh yeah, we all did. Someone
Yeah.
had them. You'd have a go, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
There's people now with serious foot injuries from over-pumped
I
trainers
wonder if
in
you
the
can
90s.
still get them.
Surely not.
Someone still must have a
Oh yeah, they'd
pair
be £500, aren't they?
dead stock.
Yeah.
Like
If you've got a pair and you'd like to sell them to your favourite podcasters,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not committing because you're probably going to charge us an arm and a leg, but let us know. Anyway, Bolton are in third, Reeboks or otherwise, so they put themselves in a very good position. They beat Morecambe on Saturday, who were their main automatic rivals, or certainly up there. So Cheltenham have gone up. They need to win to be champions, but they're already promoted. Cambridge are all but promoted. I think they just need, because of their goal average, one more point from the next two games. Bolton sit in third on 76. So they're only a point behind Cambridge. But Morecambe and Tranmere could catch them. So Bolton will want to win. That's the truth of it.
Yeah, they definitely, absolutely will. Yeah, and as we know in this league, I don't think it makes much difference, those sort of things really nowadays. I think maybe that was the thing back in the day. Teams always just want to win, don't they? No one's ever really letting you off the hook.
No. I wonder if it will help us in that they can't... A draw's not really good enough for them. I mean, it might be, but...
What, you mean they might have to...
Well, they'll have to
go for it a
attack.
bit
And
more?
obviously they're a good footballing team,
Yeah.
which might suit us.
What was the reverse fixture and the score in this fixture? I can't remember.
I can't remember either. Wish we'd thought about this in advance. The kind of names of the team, they've got Doyle up front, who's not been quite as efficient as last year, but still good. And they've got Sarcevic, former Argyle Swine.
Yeah, I just looked it up. It was 1-1 at St James's Park.
Yeah.
I didn't remember it at all. It was January.
I've got no recollection. Must have been a good one. The games have been so thick and fast, I really can't remember anything.
I can't remember stuff at the best of times,
Yeah,
to
true.
be honest. And,
So that's Saturday, and then our final game. We got a gap, first gap for ages.
yeah.
So
So there's no Tuesday night.
No,
So that was the last Tuesday night game of the season.
I'm not going to miss them.
Gone.
It's been so I've enjoyed watching it, but I'd really be pleased to get back to the normal pattern where we can actually go if we're going to be able to go.
Well, of course, I want to be able to go. Yeah, I think while we're still not able to go, and through the kind of until all the other restrictions around other things in life are gone, I think I probably will miss the event.
Yeah, I guess that's
Like
true.
we've been playing so badly recently that I won't miss having to watch that and feel all kind of like not angry, but feel all kind of like disappointed. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to things next season being back to normal. And I was just thinking, imagine last night You've had 3-0-0s. If we were able to go
Yeah.
last night, you've had 3-0-0s in a row,
Yeah.
at least one of which we would have been at. You've had to sit through all them, and then you're on the big bank. You're losing 2-1 till the 80-something minute, and then you turn it around and win 2-1. Think of that kind of release.
Yeah.
That would have been
Absolute.
I feel like
gold.
absolutely gutted to have missed that.
Here's the bit I'm mainly gutted to have missed. Bill, who stands next to you, he's livid. We're 2-1 down. He walks down the front. He stands behind the goal. He bellows in Taylor's direction. Taylor's got no chance of hearing him. He's livid. He's chucked his chips down. He marches off. Everyone laughs a bit. And then, but then we win, and we think, Bill's already back in Pinot. Absolute dream.
I think
Love
that's
that.
He's Bill. This person Bill doesn't exist, by the way. This is
That's the real person.
Right, yeah. This is just they let off the hook if they leave. What you want is the person stood down. Jeff stood just down from you.
Yeah.
He's yelling.
Yeah.
Taylor's not good enough. All
Yeah.
this stuff.
We'll never score.
He might have a point at some time. You might feel the same as him, but the difference is he's put it out there. He's put his neck on the line.
The old-fashioned message board.
Yeah, And then when we score two, he's still there.
Yeah.
What does he do? He's got to just sort of stand there. You can't celebrate. You've gone past. You've already. It's too late.
He could go like, I was wrong.
Yeah, fine. That's the only way to do it. But
Yeah,
they never
yeah.
do. They sort of like they're happy, but they can't. You've gone too far.
I know what you mean.
You know,
Come on, Jeff, own up.
That's what I miss about football. You see, is that those little things, the little things going on around you at the game. It's not even so much the game, as we know that wasn't a particularly good display of football.
No,
I would have
indeed.
missed those little reactions. I never thought I'd miss those annoying cretins from the big bank, but it turns out I do.
I'll remind you of this when they're back and we're all back
Yeah,
and they're being annoying.
I'm moving.
Yeah.
Deliberate.
Yeah, I'll remind you.
I
No,
can't do another
you said
half.
you missed him. Stand closer. Anyway,
Fine, I will.
that's kind of where we are. Obviously, we can talk about Barrow next week because we've actually got a week's gap.
We only just talked about Barrow. I don't want to.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's
And they're staying in the league, so we're going to have to play them again next season.
well. There's one way out of that. There's one
we're not
surefire.
going to take it.
Of course, hypothetically, listeners, promotion is still a chance to the playoffs. Still a chance.
We might be in League One next season. Imagine that.
I mean,
I'll tell you what. I don't want to get your hopes up, but this looks like the most unlikely yet.
yes.
So maybe, just maybe, this is the way it happens.
If Taylor pulls this off now, after this nightmare 5 months, I don't know. I won't know what to think.
I'll go around his house. I'll just sleep outside his house.
In a positive way.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Not like threatening.
I don't know why. But, just to be like every chance I get, just sort of play like shout at his house about how good it has been.
Sure, and that's an obvious reaction.
I don't think I'll be the only one there, will I?
No, probably not. I'll bring you a sandwich. Bring you a flask of soup. Because you've obviously gone insane. I wouldn't know what else to do.
We won't organise this just yet, but if it comes off, we'll sort of set up some sort of group that we can head out there.
We'll have to run a rota,
We
will
can
we?
synchronise who brings what.
Yeah, all right.
Someone bring a little gas stove.
As like a shrine or just like
No, to
eat
to,
things?
to eat,
Yeah, all right. I tell you this, though, Dan. I tell you this. So Salford and Forest Green are the teams. The results
they
we've got to
got-
watch
who
out
have they
for.
got to play?
I'll tell you this, then. So Salford have got to play Colchester away.
Easy.
Easy. Could be easy for them, couldn't it? This is Saturday. Forest Green have got to play Tranmere at home. Not easy.
No, not considering their form.
Not considering
They're
form.
worse than us.
They are worse than us. I mean, that's like saying, what's worse to stand in, dog mess or cow mess, isn't it? Like,
The answer is dog mess there.
that's true, it is.
Cows only eat grass.
Cows do only eat grass. And then on the following Saturday, the final day of the season, if you will, we play Barrow, as I said. Forest Green have got Oldham away. Easy.
Yeah.
And Salford have got Leyton Orient at home,
Easy.
in theory. So
I mean, anything can happen, can't
anything
it?
can happen. So
You have to think on paper that looks like Salford for me, getting that 7th place.
yeah, I'd agree with that.
Slugs. Absolute little slugs.
I think you can say
creeping
this:
up.
if we beat Bolton, which we essentially need to do, or we need to draw with Bolton and everyone else not
We
get
can't
any
draw.
points.
We've got surely. I mean, like we were saying earlier, this league is
Bizarre.
ridiculously forgiving. You got to think we got to win those last 2 games, haven't we, to have any chance at all?
No,
I know we don't on paper, but in reality,
yes.
it's not just one team we've got whose results we're reliant on. It's 2.
Yes.
So in reality, there is a scenario, yes, which could mathematically happen that we draw against Bolton and then beat Barrow, and that's possible. But I think that's probably very unlikely.
I don't want to also curse the whole thing. Salford's goal difference has improved a lot recently.
Yeah,
So they're plus 18, we're plus 20. So
that could change, couldn't it?
That
Yeah,
could
one
change.
game that's swung around.
yeah, we both win. We win 1-0 against Bolton and they win 3-0 against whoever they got on Saturday.
Yeah,
So
the odds are stacked against us.
that's the way we like it.
Is it?
No. Why can't we just have won this thing easily? Why can't we just carried on our march?
Nah.
There we are. Forget it. There's nothing we can say about that. Thanks everyone for listening. Remember, you can get in touch with us in all the normal ways. On Twitter, we're at Big Bank Pod. On the email, as I like to call it, we're bigbankpod@gmail.com. And you can find us on Facebook as well.
Why not write us a letter?
You could write us a letter, but you wouldn't know where to post it. You'll have to write the letter and then take a photo of it and send it electronically,
Yeah.
like Blue Peter.
Is that what they do in Blue Peter?
Yeah.
Blue Peter's still going?
Oh yeah,
Really?
yeah, thriving,
Is it the same as it always was?
pretty much.
Still making stuff out of yogurt pots? and
Yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Here's one I made earlier.
yeah, yeah.
Time capsule.
All that stuff. The garden. Do you know who runs the Blue Peter garden now? You'll
Monty
never.
Don.
You'll know. That would be obvious. You'll never get this in a million years.
Andy Peters.
Closer. Do you remember Sam and Mark, that weird duo from the X Factor? I think one was a Brummie and one was a Scouser or something.
What not? He's a good singer, same. Not them.
Who's that?
I'm P. Diddy and he's Usher. Not them.
No, not them. No. These guys got to like the final, but they couldn't
Anton
really
Deaf, they're called.
sing. Anyway, one of them now runs the Blue Peter garden.
Right.
Some
What,
like-
manages it or something?
Yeah, some sub celebrity.
Right.
Yeah.
Has anyone broken into it recently and vandalised it?
I don't think so.
When was that? The 80s?
Yeah. Mark Curry was livid.
Yeah.
This is not a topic for listeners who are in their 20s. Mark Curry.
No, but some of our listeners are
older.
very old. And they'll remember this well. Well, maybe they won't. But they were around for it.
Yeah.
If you're old enough to remember the Blue Peter Garden vandalism incident,
Yeah.
but can't, then that probably means you're very old. But if you want to get in touch anyway, please do.
We welcome all communication. Do you know what? We've never had any abusive communication. I don't want to encourage that.
No,
but
no. Well, if you want to, then do it. I mean, if that's you could just talk about something to do with Exeter City and not even mention the Blue Peter Garden if you can't remember it.
Fine. Just tell us about Exeter City, maybe.
Yeah.
Focus on that. But we'd love to hear from you. So thank you for listening, as always. I guess we'll do a early next week pod, and then we'll do one following the Barrow game as well.
Yeah, so that may be the last one of the season. We haven't really discussed this, have we? Maybe we'll do one sort of like roundup episode.
Are you saying if we get to the playoffs, we're not doing any more?
We're not getting to the playoffs.
I still want to believe, because that is my way.
Well, don't stop believing.
Okay. Thanks for listening, everyone. I hope that you don't stop believing either. My name's John. I'll be here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Cheers.
See you soon.